Okay, so peace. Welcome back to my channel. You are now experiencing the mind of a genius. It is me, Soli, and today chilling with my homie. The tree. It's very interesting because a lot of us don't know this, but it's like trees. They're sentient, conscious beings too. Like today I learned this interest. I was reading this book. And it was like on the earth and everything, and it was just talking about how ultimately the trees they play like mother earth's antennas. Like they are responsible for receiving frequencies from like other dimensions and like other dimensions from like out there, you know what I mean. And it's also said that for every tree down here there's a corresponding star up there, so that's also beautiful. But to me it made sense because trees, they're very wise. They're wise beings. Like trees, I probably sound crazy right now, but for real, like, and it's very interesting because I was also told that once I received this information, I was told that I am like very lucky and fortunate to receiving this information because not a lot of people know this, and like to a degree there are certain beings that hide there are certain beings that are hiding like trees consciousness, like a consciousness of a tree, I guess, because we human beings aren't yet ready to utilize it. Maybe because we will abuse it. I say that because there's this one episode in The Simpsons, that one show with the yellow people, the cartoon show that drop a lot of truth. So there was this one episode where it's like, in a sense, like it's a future theme, and ultimately in this future, like, so what happened was Bart, he went outside and he was gonna go into his treehouse because Bart, one of the characters in the show, has a treehouse, right? And then he was talking to the tree, and he was kind of rude to the tree. He commanded it to like pick him up and put him into the treehouse, and like it was just just it was just kind of rude, like the way it unfolded. So I guess to a degree we are not allowed to understand the tree's consciousness simply because we will abuse it. Certain people will abuse it. Yeah, but like, cause I remember way back. I think this was like 2 or 1 year ago, probably 2 years ago, when I was walking around, and I just felt like I was around trees, and I was just walking. I felt like their consciousness, like I felt a presence of something, and then I started to tap into like the subtle realm of it, and I tapped into like this like realm, you feel me. And like the trees, in a sense I seen them for what they were, and they started talking to me, and things like this. And it was also funny because I asked them like what they looked like. Well, I don't even know how it went, but they ultimately were like, we can manifest in your mind however you desire. Like we could be a girl, we could be this, we could be that. But it's like there's also this one other interesting like information I received, which correlates the mind, a human mind, to be like our minds. They are interpretators of energy, so it's like certain things that we perceive external of us, they're not really that's not really like that. They're not like, not everything isn't as it seems, like, but we are interpreting it in a way that makes sense to us. Like, for instance, angels, angels, they don't really look like people with wings, like, because angels are angles of light. Because what you need to understand is ultimately everything is light, and what an angel is it's like that angle of light where two lines, like light lines, intersect, and this makes an angle. And this is like, and this angle, in a sense, is like, it manifests a certain energy, but it's also like an area where it's supporting the universe in one way or another. Like it's holding like I hope you guys get what I'm saying, but ultimately angels are like angles of light, but it's like they are, but it's consciousness as well, because it's like once that energy like intersects, once those two lines intersect, in a sense they like form this like ball of light. So to a degree, like a light, like a light beam, like is more of an accurate expression of an angel than like a being with wings. Like light, like a light ball that's shining is more accurate when we're talking about angels than like something with wings. But it's like it will manifest that way because that's typically like energy can manifest in a sense however it needs to. So like an angel can come to you in that form because ultimately energy is like a ball of potential. And every species on this earth has a different way of perceiving things. Like for instance, ants perceive life a whole different way than we do. Ants, bugs, they see us completely different, than we see ourselves. And just everything has interpretates energy a different way, and it's ultimately all we're doing. We're just interpreting energy, because what you need to understand is that your these eyes, these hold up, let me just get that hair out the way, that dread out the way. But like ultimately these two eyes right here, you're not particularly really seeing things in the sense of like you're not really receiving the tree for what it is, but you're actually receiving like light codes from the tree. Like you're receiving the light that bounce, like you're just receiving light. And then what happens is this light goes into your brain, and your brain interpretates it. So you are technically just interpreting life. So our whole reality, our whole life is going to be an interpreted through our natal chart, our birth chart, because our natal chart is like it's that energy, and our natal chart represents like how light is expressing within us. So depending on your natal chart, this would indicate how you perceive your external reality. And it's ultimately like and your natal chart is astrology. It's your birth chart. Your natal chart is like your sun sign, which would be considered your zodiac sign, your moon sign, your Mercury, your Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, ascendant, and so on and so forth. But like yeah, so ultimately that's what we're doing. We're interpreting these energies through our birth chart. Like your birth chart in a sense is like the program you are in. Like, so if life is a simulation, then your birth chart, your natal chart is your natal chart will be the program of that simulation. I like to perceive it as like our like astrology being the software, and biology being the hardware. But like yeah, that's the beautiful thing about it. And like the beautiful thing about it is everything has a birth chart. Like every sentient living being has a birth chart. Most definitely, most definitely. um but yeah, it's also so interesting, like with trees. And because ultimately, that's kind of like my beginning subject, trees, right? Talking about trees. Like trees, they're very amazing beings. And you can, let me take off my shoes real quick. um like when I'm on the earth, I like to take off my shoes so I'm fully grounded, you know, because I think it's pointless if I have my shoes on and like I can ground myself. You feel me? But ultimately, trees. One of the reasons why hugging a tree is amazing, like, because when you hug a tree, you do feel something. Like you do feel like this energy, you know. But it's like something that's not to be talked about, but to be experienced. Like that's all I can say. Like when people would talk about hugging trees and like they'd say it's amazing, like I would be like, I bet, but I couldn't really understand what they meant until I hugged a tree. But it's fucking crazy, yo. But ultimately, the thing about trees is they're anchored, you know, and their roots are very deep into like the earth. So they are like they're bringing like the earth's energy up, but it's like in a sense more potent, if you get what I mean. Um, like yeah, my experiences with trees, you know, like all life is sentient. Because we are interpreters of energy, we have the ability to communicate with anything and everything, you know, literally with anything and everything. Like I was talking to a friend yesterday, you know, I think she knows who she is, and you know, me and her were talking on the phone, and she was telling me about how her experiences right now, and just how, I guess in a sense, just so how synchronized she is with everything around her. And she was telling me about how she can like listen to the words of a smell, like, and she was, you know, she it was funny because she told me before she said this, she was like, this might sound crazy, but it didn't sound crazy to me. Like, but she told me like she can hear the voices of a smell, you know. But that is ultimately all we are doing. Even when I am talking, all you are doing is you are interpreting that energy within. You're interpreting my energy, you know. So, and energy isn't like subjective to one thing. Energy is, like I said earlier, a ball of potential, but it's also infinite. So it's like the smell has that ability to speak to you. It has the ability to speak to you. It just depends on you and your ability to be able to interpretate that, you know. So I was just like affirming to her that she's not crazy, but it's amazing, you know, it's amazing. But it's funny, and I was just telling her how like in this world that we're living in, like people like me and her, we came into this world to bring forth, in a sense, a new world order. You feel me? And the thing about it is, we came into a world where insanity is like common. Like it's insanity is normal. You know. So I was just telling her how sane people like me and her are gonna seem insane to insane people. Like crazy people are gonna perceive us to be crazy because we're the ones who are like. I hope you guys get what I'm saying. But like, I'm just trying to break that to her, you know. And it is so real because people would talk about like and it's technically submitting to a system that literally enslaves you mentally and physically, and they would talk about it like it's the right thing, like it's the right thing, you know. And it just the praise of like the system that's suppressing them, it amazes me. Like the stupidity amazes me, you know. It's crazy. Oh shit. God damn it. Hold on, give me a second. I stabbed myself with like a little stick, but never mind, it's out. But yeah, you know, that amazes me. That's something that intrigues and amazes me. But and so I was just telling her how she's not crazy because she is able to see, feel, interpretate certain things that other people can't, you know. But like yeah, back to the trees, you know, back to the trees. Like um, that night, you know, when I like first like truly tapped into like the trees, like they let me. I feel like they let me in. You feel me? And it was like what I felt was like the trees. They're like because they're very wise. Like they're like a book of my bad, like library, like organic libraries. Like if you are able to tap into like the trees, then the immense of wisdom you can receive is crazy, you know. But like trees, they have things to teach us. Like, boy, do I never mind. I need to stop saying that. But like, trees, they have things to teach us. Like, boy, do I. Never mind. I need to stop saying that. But like, trees, they have things to teach us. Like, boy, do I. I need to stop saying that. And I really think, but yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, like trees, they have shit to teach us. Like, if we can hone in on their energy, and not to mention their healing abilities. Like I receive so much healing just from like my back being against this tree. Like it's amazing, like, because in the Western society that we're living in, everything is so secluded from nature, and it's like a lot of people are in hospitals, a lot of people are sick, a lot of people are experiencing cancer, and shit, and things like this, and like dying, and like just suffering, and to me, honestly, like whenever someone talks about like someone else suffering due to like cancer or something like this, um I guess to a degree it is fucked up, but it's like me also, I don't like me also, I do understand that it's like it's so easy to be helped. Well, it's harder to get sick than it is to stay healthy, because your body it will consistently warn you before you are in that deathbed, before you are sick. Our bodies are intelligent fucking systems, everything external of us, technology wise, roots from our body. It comes from our body. The speaker comes from our ears. My bad. Speakers come from that voice box inside. Fuck, I forgot the name, but yeah, like the speaker ultimately is like mimicking like our speakers are mimicking our ability to communicate. Um, yeah, but like so on and so forth. Like everything external of us, everything external of us in the sense of technology came from the internal. Our, like cameras being what's this word, like, and cameras are mimicking our eyes. Like I have a camera that has I mean, I have, yeah, my phone has like two cameras on it. Like it's like it has two dual cameras, and that's like total mimicment. If you get what I'm saying. um, but like, yeah, there's just so much about like nature that I have been fortunate enough to learn, and it's like that I've been fortunate enough to learn, and the people whom were meant to the people who were meant to learn will learn. Like, um, yeah, the people who are meant to learn will learn. So it's like I will be given this information in the future, of course, but it's like I'm not giving it in vain. You know what I mean? Because it's like life will only give to you what you deserve. So it's like people who don't stumble across this video, like they were meant to, or like my videos, they were meant to, and it's just that simple. I hope you guys get what I'm saying. But yeah, like this has been my video on, well, it was technically just a talk, but it's like, on nature, on the trees, and just the beauty of trees, and how we need to start giving gratitude to them. Like, because trees are so fucking giving, That's, oh my god, you don't even know. Like, that's like, the energy, that's, that giving energy of, like, trees, like, even when it comes to, like, their wisdom and the shit they know, like, that's just all they want to do. They just want to give us, whether that be food, manifesting in, like, fucking, fruit, or whether that be oxygen. And it's like, it's fucked up, because all we do is cut them down, and it's like, I mentioned earlier, trees, they play as like Mother Earth's antennas, and they are receiving certain light codes, and like frequencies and shit like that from other dimensions out there, and it's like us cutting down the trees we're fucking up, you know. But it's amazing because to a degree it's like hair resembles trees. Like, well, hair resembles plants, you know. It grows like plants grow. You water it and just shit like that, you know. But like your hair, it definitely does resemble trees, and it's like, and plants, I mean. And you can treat your hair like a plant to a degree, because it's like me. I noticed, like, because I don't know when it was, but I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I was constantly going to the mountains, and I live in Arizona, so you know, like the sun is very present here, and constant like just sunbathing, sunbathing, sunbathing. What I realized was that to that period of time, my like hair also grew. You know, like my hair also grew. Um, but yeah, thank you for watching. Like, and like they say, namaste.